Happy Thanksgiving.
When I looked at that, I never knew which one I would be or which one you would be. Now I know.
Do you?
Well, I guess they just told me.
This first half highlight is brought to you by MCI, proof positive.
I'll tell you, if you're looking for something, it's MCI and proof positive. I think it's this move by Reggie White. I mean, one arm or two arms, this is one of the great moves that I've ever seen.
Would you classify that as a move or just a run over?
No, it was a move because of what he did with his right arm. I mean, bringing that right arm and just bringing Larry Allen up and to the side. The run over was the other part of it. It was kind of a run over with a move.
Yeah. A double dose by Reggie White.
That's why Reggie White's the best. You know, of all the defensive linemen that have ever played this game, I think there's a place in that group for Reggie White.
If there isn't, there should be. Chris Jackie to kick off.
Got to put his mouthpiece in first. You never, ever kick off without your mouthpiece on.
He is a kicker.
Because if you kick a bad one, you're going to have to make a tackle.
Line drive to Kevin Williams. Stumbling, still on his feet is Kevin Williams. Got one man to beat. Out of bounds, and the special teams did their job as Doug Evans finally got him out of bounds.
That's when he needed a mouthpiece. And Kevin Williams, you take the ball, he takes it up into his wedge. Then he makes a move right there. Then he picks up another convoy here. Picks up three blockers, uses them, gets them, sets up everything, and then right here, he just runs out of room. Another great return.
87 yards by Kevin Williams, and he's got him back where it is first and goal on the 5.
The Cowboys are going to be successful. It has to be. This is what we said earlier. It has to be special teams and defense. You can't put the whole thing on Jason Garrett's shoulders.
Jason Garrett still the quarterback. Two tight ends. Emmett Smith. Touchdown Dallas, his 16th of the year. Now he's hurt his foot.
He lost his shoe anyway, Pat.
That's all it was. He's not hurt. Boy, it doesn't take long to get back in the game, does it?
And he could be hurt, too. I mean, he could have lost his shoe and be hurt. Hey, Kevin Williams put him in position to do it. Emmitt Smith finished it off.
Bonio for the extra point. 17-13.
Started to the right, cut it back to the left.
There's where he lost his shoe, but kept going. Emmitt Smith scored. Bonio to kick it off. 17-13. Green Bay lead. And out of the pack comes Corey Harris. Bonio knocked him out of bounds. Bring it right back.
We're going to watch a touchdown again, Pat. You're going to see as they start this way, everything goes this way. And then they catch it right here, and then 2-8 gets these two, and then Emmitt Smith can cut back to this side. But you see, if we can just stop right there, you see everyone does this, and look at this lane that Emmitt Smith has back to that side. Now, the interesting thing here, the Cowboys were down by 11, and it says when you're down by 11 in that chart that you should go for 2. They kick the extra point.
The Packers come back with a good kickoff return of 57 yards, and they get back in Dallas territory. Reggie Cobb. Larry Brown made the stop.
Yeah, as you watch this run back here, you're going to see a picture here you don't see too often. That's a kicker going paint to paint. Bonio just led with his head. You know, usually kickoff guys today in today's game don't run down and lead with their head.
No. And they usually, if they do, don't kick very long.
And in the old days, they used to lead with their head. They didn't even have face masks.
You're standing next to evidence of that. Incomplete. Far for West. He had him open and he had room to run.
Yeah, Brett Favre, we looked at, you know, how he moved the ball around the first half. 1 for 2, you know, deep in that touchdown. 1 for 1 in the middle, 0 for 1 deep right, under 15 yards, 2 for 2 to the left, 4 to 6 to the middle. And his biggest part was throwing to the right, 6 out of 8, and 1 touchdown.
Now that touchdown throw was a heck of a throw. Green Bay, 3rd down at the Dallas 30. Favre back to throw it. Has Sterling Sharp, and he's close to scoring and is inside the 5, and touchdown Green Bay. They come right back.
Well, we said before the half, you could just see Brett Favre getting that confidence. He was getting that rhythm. He was in sync, and he has it, and he kept it through the halftime and brought it out with him the second half. Sterling Sharp was so big and strong and such a good runner, he ran right by James Washington. James Washington has to make that play when Sterling Sharp catches a ball. Washington didn't make the play.
Jackie for the extra point. Sterling Sharp just scored his 3rd touchdown of the day. The 3rd from Jackie. Packers lead. 24-13, Green Bay over Dallas. Jackie set to kick off. Dallas scored. Green Bay got the good return, came right back and scored. Favre to Sharp for the 3rd time today. Kevin Williams again at the 8. Not much doing this time. Torrey Harris made the hit that brought him down.
Let's watch the touchdown again, Pat. Here's Sterling Sharp here. He's going to come up and catch a ball in here. Now, that'll happen, but James Washington has to make that tackle. He has to take an angle and make that tackle. And Sharp is so big and strong that he doesn't let you do that. You see, he gets by here. Now he's in the middle. Now he catches the ball. Washington takes a terrible angle, misses a tackle, and that's 20 yards that Sterling Sharp runs just because he's a good receiver and a very strong runner and a poor tackle.
Most points scored against the Cowboys this year. Here's Jason Garrett back to throw. Gets it to Harper. Outside the 30, about the 32. Buckley and George Koontz.
Yeah, we were talking about that 2-point thing, Pat. If you look at the score, 24-13 now. The chart, you know, they have a chart for when you go for 1 and when you go for 2. And the chart says if you're down by 11 and you score, you should go for 2, because then that's going to put you within a field goal.
Down by 11 again.
Right, so they didn't do it last time when they were down by 11. They just went for the 1. Now we'll see if they can score again, if they will go for the 2.
Harper in motion. Emmitt Smith left side. Not much. He needed about 1.5 yards for a first. Don't know if he got it or not.
33-yard line.
You can just watch Nate Newton and Stepnoski get a real good double team. Then Nate comes off, and again, all Emmitt Smith has to do is get in there behind number 61, and you're going to come close to getting the first down.
And that's what they did, come close. Third about a foot, it looks like.
Old Nate does a lot of things. I mean, he blocks man, he doubles, he comes off. He's a very smart player. He pulls. He's good in the open field. He's just a good football player.
Smith. First down this time as Darrell Johnston is knocked forward by the tailback behind him, Emmitt Smith.
That's what you always tell the lead blocker. If you're going to lead to get in and get out of the hole, the Moose kind of stayed in the hole that time, and Emmitt Smith had to knock him out of the hole. I think Darrell Johnston is getting to be appreciated now. I mean, he's getting to be a Pro Bowl player, and you know, for all the blocking and catching and all the things that he does, but that job is not an easy job.
No, it isn't. Not much glory, not nearly as much as goes to the man behind you. Here's Garrett. Drops it outside to Smith. And Emmett dives up to about the 39 before he's knocked down by Bryce Paup and George Kuntz.
There's a flag.
Flag on the play. And the reaction of the crowd has got to be against Green Bay.
I think it is. I think it's roughing the passer. It was back in that area. They were doubling Reggie White that time, Pat. Derek Kennard came out to help Larry Allen, so that's one of the halftime adjustments they made.
Let's see what happened to Garrett.
Yeah, it was on Sean Jones, I guess is what he called right there.
Garrett back to throw it. Going deep. He's got Harper. Harper's going to score. Flag on the play. Penalty marker down. They might bring it back. Like they're going to. They're still standing at middle field. In the middle of the field, three of the offensive players, or two of the offensive players for Dallas. Touchdown, they're saying.
Holding, number 20, defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Touchdown is official. Here it is.
Jason Garrett learned one thing. There's Terrell Buckley there. I guess that was a holding penalty. And again, Harper is so big and strong. He just gets behind Buckley, and Jason Garrett just throws it up there. And now it'll be interesting to see if the Cowboys are going to go
They're going to go for two. You're right, John.
Down by 11, it says go for two. The first time they were down by 11, they didn't. This time they're going for two. Because again, if they get to two, that puts them within field goal.
10:45 left to play in the third quarter. 24-19 the score. They're going for two. Garrett fumbles forward. Flag on the play. Penalty marker down. Let's wait and see.
Barry Switzer's trying to get his stuff tangled up there, untangled there. That's the first time the Cowboys went for two.
Holding.
Number 55, defense. Half the distance to the goal.
Against Fred Strickland. They'll try again.
Yeah, now you get to the 1 yard line. And now I think it's a running down. Now I would just give the ball to Emmitt Smith. He'll find a yard in there for you somewhere.
I would think the odds are pretty good from the 1 yard line that you're going to get in if you give the ball to Emmitt Smith. 2-point conversions. This is when to go for what you were talking about a minute ago.
I think now the Moose is probably going to lead this one in there, and Emmitt Smith's probably going to follow him.
Emmitt Smith? I don't know. Jason Garrett says he made it. But he's not wearing a striped shirt.
The officials haven't signaled anything yet.
Yes, they have. 24-21. Emmitt Smith from behind.
All he needs is a yard. They're going to run that lead. Good lead block by Darrell Johnston. I'll tell you, it looked like Emmitt Smith, when he crossed that plane, didn't even have the ball.
There's the ball there.
He gets it back, but he lost it for a second.
Maybe he brought it back.
I don't know. Maybe the officials are talking about that now. Because you have to get in the end zone, but you have to have the ball with you, and you have to have control of the ball.
Well, did he get control on the second try?
I think he did.
Gary Markwright wants him to get away, and let's call the rest of the officials over and talk it over again.
I see number 26 is shaking his head. Now the other official's shaking his head. I see two guys shaking their heads no. Now we have to find out what no means.
The try is no good.
Try is no good.
That's what no meant.
Was fumbled short of the goal line and recovered by someone other than the fumbler. This is the special fumble rule. Only the ball carrier could have legally recovered. The point is no good. Timeout.
Who did recover? It looked like Emmitt Smith got it back.
I think they said Mark Stepnowski. See, now Emmett loses it right there on top. Now he's the only guy that can get it. And the guy that ends up with it is number 53, Mark Stepnoski. And he can't recover it.
No good then. So the score remains 24-19. Again, a happy Thanksgiving. 24-19, Green Bay. Dallas to kick off. Bonio, Corey Harris, and Darrell Thompson back to Bonio kick. Darrell Thompson. At the 30. This game summary brought to you by Budweiser. Sharp has 3 touchdown catches, all from Favre. Favre 15 out of 22. Garrett 11 of 20, 171 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Green Bay ball at their own 30. 24-19 is the Packer lead. From the 31, Brett Favre, the quarterback. Reggie Cobb deep. Handoff Cobb. Spins away from one. And right now for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
All right, Pat, on tap for some of our viewers on Sunday on Fox. The Eagles look to get off their backs after 2 straight losses as they play in Atlanta, where the Falcons welcome back Andre Rison to the flock after a 1-game suspension. That'll be coming up on Sunday right here on Fox. Back to Dallas, Pat and John.
2nd and 8, Green Bay. Favre back to throw it. Tight end Ed Webb. Not enough for the first as he's knocked backward by Darren Smith.
And James Washington was in on that one too, Pat. He was the guy that missed that tackle on Sterling Sharp at the 20 when Sharp went in to score. That time he got his angles right and his shoulder right and his knees bent and hip flexed.
But he got to get his shirt tail in.
Yeah, well, that'll be a fine. Maybe he hit him so hard he got his shirt tail knocked out.
3rd and about 2. 1 make it. 3 wide receivers for the Packers. Takes the handoff, dropped the ball, recovered in time to throw it, but incomplete.
That was that bootleg he was going to try on Charles Haley. It didn't work. Haley's playing the other side. Haley's playing to Brett Favre's right. You see, he'd seen that bootleg before. Favre goes to bootleg, stumbled, fumbled, fell, and threw. And Haley was zeroing in on him.
That's the new term. Stumble, fumble, fell, and threw.
He did all 4 of those.
Yeah.
He did them with big eyes because he saw number 94.
Craig Hendrick, the punter, to Kevin Williams. Just barely makes the catch. Sort of a knuckleball. He got up and tried to run, but he realized no one had hit him. But then they did. So that's where the Cowboys will start. The blockbuster video blimp overhead. For today's event, it's piloted by Steve Tomlin of London, England. And John, I thought you wouldn't go up there. What are you doing?
I don't know. That's some other guy.
Looks a lot like you.
They ought to have turkeys. They ought to fill that whole blimp, take the helium out and fill it up with turkeys and go feed everyone.
What a heck of an idea. This is Emmett Smith. Emmett by Sean Jones. Picked up about 7.
Sean Jones has been active today too. You know, you have Reggie White on one side, Sean Jones coming from the other side. He was the one that got that 15-yard penalty, that roughing penalty the last time, roughing the quarterback that put the Cowboys in pretty good field position. But he's been having a good battle over there all day with Mark Tuinen.
2nd and 2. Darrell Johnston. 2nd carry of the day for him, stopped by Bryce Paup. Gilbert Brown in the middle of that Green Bay defense.
That's what a nickel defensive back and special teams guy, that's the way he rests if you nickname the Shark.
Do you have to be nicknamed the Sharp to
Yeah.
the Shark to relax like that?
To cross your legs, put your feet up on a table, and cross your arms. I mean, that's never been done in football before.
Not at the same time.
And then some coach comes and draws upside down to him. That's football in the 90s, Pat.
Yeah.
You sit down, put your legs up on the table, take it easy, cross your legs, and the coach draws upside down for you.
Cowboys get the first down. Up at the 28. Green Bay leading 24-19, 8:10 left to play in the third quarter. Must win for that group and for Dallas. Going deep, incomplete. Flag on the play was intended for Michael Irving.
That was Doug Evans was with him. And again, you had the bumping by Irvin, and the bumping by Evans, and they all stand around and talk about who they're going to call the bumping on.
You have it every time.
And that's why I think they encourage you to throw that pass.
Yeah.
You just got to keep throwing that thing up there. And then you got the conference call, the conference group, or the conference, whatever they call this. I'm not sure what this one's all about.
A lot of these going on.
I don't like this. They used to have instant replay.
Why not?
It's better than this.
Why not have instant replay if you're going to do this?
It's like the two-point play. They call it good, then they meet and they say no and call it no good. We'll all get together, decide what this is. Now they'll tell us.
Maybe.
Pass interference, number 33, defense. First down.
Doug Evans.
And that's number 33 is Doug Evans. You see, Irvin has that right hand out. He's trying to knock Evans' left hand. You see him push him a little with the right, then he puts his right up there. I can see why Evans is complaining there. I mean, Irvin just takes him. He just has his right arm up around his head.
Uses him for a ladder.
Yeah, and then they pull Evans down and then call the penalty on poor old Evans. Whew, that was a terrible call.
First and 10. And here's Emmett Smith on first and 10. Maybe he got two.
Yeah, here's Doug Evans. He's looking up at the replays that we were just looking at.
How can you say that you call that on me?
Well, yeah, and he's right. I mean, the officials are nice guys. In fact, we had our turkey dinner last night, and all the officials were there, and
yeah,
you know, and eating with us, and nice and everything. But that was a bad. I mean, they blew that one.
Novacek on the move. He's been quiet today. Intended from Garrett to Darrell Johnson, incomplete.
Yeah, Reggie White's still making that move on Larry Allen, though. You know, that right arm.
Why stop?
But Allen's handling it a little better now. Watch Allen here. I mean, he's not really stopping the move when Reggie comes, but he's keeping both feet on the ground just a little bit. Well, no, he isn't really.
You tried.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he stayed with him just a little better, but I mean, Reggie just hits him when that right arm comes up. He just brings both his feet out of the ground, and Larry Allen weighs 330 pounds.
It's like a club. Third and 8. Here's Garrett. No time. Running to get out of bounds, and does, and hit out of bounds, and here come the flags. That was way out of bounds. George Kuntz.
That's a tough one for Kuntz. I mean, they were chasing him.
Unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds, 53 defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
See, Jason Garrett is trying to stay in. He's tiptoeing down that line, and then just as he stepped out, Kuntz hit him. I mean, that's a tough one for Kuntz. It really is. I mean, I know it looks bad because he gave him a pretty good hit, but Jason Garrett was trying to stay in bounds, and he was trying to, you know, tight rope that thing. Is that the word, tight rope, tight walk?
That's good enough.
Walk, you know, that down the line.
I know what you mean.
And that's what Kuntz read, and so Kuntz had to finish it off so they didn't cut back inside.
43 of these yards on this drive have been against Green Bay for penalties. 1st and 10. That was 3rd and long yardage, and that one hurt. Here's Emmitt Smith. He's got no place to go. Stopped by John Jurkovic. Jurkovic is hurt. I believe it's Jurkovic. I'm not sure. Gilbert Brown is the man hurt.
Yeah, you see, here's Gilbert Brown here. Jurkovic is the guy that's next to him. Brown's going against Kennard there. Plays off him well. He just starts to make the tackle and just missed him, and it looked like he hyperextended some stuff.
Yep. Brown heads over to the sideline. Apparently nothing too serious.
Well, when you weigh that much and you get, you know, part of you going one way and the other part going the other way on artificial turf, something has to give, and it's usually a joint.
2nd and 12. Garrett will throw it. Novacek inside the 5, fumbles it, picked up by Darrell Johnston. Novacek was down.
Well, that's one throw Jason Garrett can do. That's that thing. Remember Phil Simms threw that ball so many times?
To Bavaro.
It's just right here. It's just going to come right as a seam pattern coming right up here. You see Novacek just breaks loose, gives a little move, and then Jason Garrett hits him just inside the number. That ball came out of there. I guess it was after he was down.
Novacek has had a problem with a pulled abdominal muscle. He hasn't been as effective as in years past because of that. Darrell Johnston gets in.
And now the chart says, Pat, that the Cowboys should go for 2 again in this situation.
Well, here come Harper and Irving. So they must be going to do that.
Well, of course, the first time they were supposed to do it, they didn't do it. The second time they were supposed to do it, they did do it, but didn't make it because they had a fumble. And then again, according to the charts, they're supposed to do it in this situation.
25-24. Dallas leads Green Bay. Garrett is 4 out of 5 this half. Let's see what happens here. Handoff is to Emmitt Smith. He didn't get in again. Not successful.
Hey, this Packer defensive line penetrates. They play strong at the point of attack. They take on that lead block. There was no place on the lead block, and then the safety, Teague, was right up there next to him. What's George Teague, number 31? You see, after the lead is taken on, then there's no one for him. But that was a good job of the line staying low, the linebackers getting in there and taking on the lead, and then the safety mopping up anything that would be left over there.
So it's Dallas 25, Green Bay 24 on this Thanksgiving Day. This Sunday, Fox NFL Sunday begins at noon Eastern with 9 a.m. Pacific with the #1 pregame show in America. Then Fox NFL Sunday continues with regional action beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern as John and I will be in Atlanta. The Eagles take on the Falcons. Others will see Tampa Bay at Minnesota. Then at 4 Eastern, Chicago battles Arizona. The Giants are at Washington, and the Rams face the Chargers. Check your local listing for the game in your area right here on Fox Sports. Cowboys leading by 1. Touchdown to Darrell Johnston. Bonio, short kickoff again. Darrell Thompson. Cut down at the 30 by Derek Brownlow.
Yeah, that was a heck of a throw by Jason Garrett, and there was really some move by Novacek, too. That was the big play that got the Cowboys down there. Of course, there was a couple of rough penalties on there.
John Jerkovich.
I bet you Doug Evans is still wondering how did they call pass interference against me on that drive.
I bet he is. He'll be wondering. 1st and 10. Flag on the play. Right offensive tackle of the Packers jump.
False start. Number 68, offense.
Joe
Prior to the
Sims.
snap, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Joe Sims was a guy last week who was holding in the end zone and against Buffalo and got a safety against the Packers. Now these fans are into it. I mean, now they're getting fired up. They know Thanksgiving Day, their teams ahead. Quarterbacks out, they know if they can get by this game, 10 days off, get rested up, get Troy back. They got some things going.
1st and 15. Favre. The rush. He hits Sterling Sharp coming across for a short gain.
He almost hit the umpire. The umpire is the official who lines up behind the defense. Sterling Sharp was using the umpire. He ran right at the official. And then Favre threw the ball. And if the official doesn't duck, watch the umpire. He's right there. Favre is going to come across. You see right there? He ducks. Favre throws the ball right at the umpire. The umpire ducks. And on the other side of the umpire is Sterling Sharp.
Just appeared. 2nd down. Favre to throw it. Going deep. Incomplete and no flag this time. Robert Brooks, the intended receiver, covered by Kevin Smith, and that's good coverage. You can't do it much better. But there is a flag on the other side of the field.
And it's the other side. It's where Sterling Sharp was against Larry Brown.
Illegal contact foul on number 24, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Now Larry Brown was on the other side. Here it is last play. This is on the side away from where the ball was thrown. Larry Brown hits him. Again, can do that for 5 yards. After 5 yards, he can't. You see, he did it that second time. Then he put his hands out. Sterling Sharp was just running right into him.
He just ran right into it. Edgar Bennett on 1st and 10 is the lone setback. Favre pats his left hip. That means go this way, I guess. Haley got a hand on him. Darren Smith and Larry Brown take him out of bounds.
One thing about these two Cowboy corners are, the safeties are big hitters, but these corners will come up and force and support if you ever do get a sweep to the outside. That's what Larry Brown did that time. Usually they don't get around the end or linebacker, but if they do, these two corners are pretty good at that.
2nd down and 7. Hard to throw it. Pass caught by Mark Shmura. Complete, not a first down. James Washington there to wrap him up.
You know one thing, we're still here in the 3rd quarter. The Packers are down by 1. That Sterling Sharp has been so hot today, and that combination of Favre and Sharp has been working so well that they aren't going to get away from that. Sterling Sharp has already scored 3 touchdowns today.
3rd and 3, and they'll be looking for him this time.
I would be if I were the Cowboys, but I would be if I were Brett Favre.
He's facing Larry Brown. Favre looking in that direction. He's hit. Favre was just as he let go. Sharp is calling for a pass interference penalty, which he didn't get. And the Packers will have to punt.
Yeah, we said how good a cover guy Darren Smith is. You're going to watch number 59 there. See, Sharp is trying to come across and get behind that umpire again and just get that first down. But he didn't get by Darren Smith. Well, I don't know that he wasn't hit before that ball got there. That umpire has to look the other way. Sterling Sharp is using him.
And the umpire was looking backwards, away from Favre.
He has to watch the lineman.
And Williams signals fair catch. Makes it at about the 23.
You take a turkey and you just grow it, and then somehow you kill it, and then you put it on the oven. Put it in a pan and fry it. Cook it for 3 minutes. She stuffs the turkey with hot dogs.
I want my turkey cooked more than 3 minutes.
Well, I did, you know, in the turkey that we cooked on the bus, we did all of the above.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We fried it,
Killed it.
Cooked it for 3 minutes, killed it,
Grew it.
yep, stuffed some hot dogs in it. You can't beat it. I mean, there's nothing that tastes better than that.
Here's Jason Garrett looking for something. Novacek, I believe. And he is hammered out of bounds.
That was one of the things that Ernie Zampese moved up for Jason Garrett. You know, they have all these plays in their offense, and then they just move them up or down depending on who they're playing. And he said that, you know, there's a lot of movement stuff like that waggle and, you know, sprints and stuff that they don't use for Troy, but they do have in their offense. They've moved up this week for Jason Garrett to use.
1st and 10, Cowboys at the 33. They lead by a point. That's Emmitt Smith. Up to about the 35. Don Davey made the stop.
Don Davey made the stop.
Chris, or John Jett, excuse me. The punter getting loose.
They always have something going, don't they, those Kevin? They're always doing some little thing with the ball, kicking it up, kicking things, kicking cups, kicking it and catching it.
Kick them up straight. Second down. Jason Garrett for Harper. Flag on the play, and somebody is pushing again. This one's going to be against Harper, I believe.
Usually when they come back, it is.
Number 80, offense.
Usually when
penalty, second down.
When the official calls it and then runs back to the referee to tell him, it's usually on the offensive guy. See, Harper pushed there with his left hand, pushed there with his left hand again, then the ball was thrown short. But they've been doing this all day. I mean, that's what Michael Irving did earlier. Harper's been doing it. The one thing, Terrell Buckley didn't touch Harper at all, though, on that play.
Makes it 2nd and 18. Detroit beat Buffalo earlier today, 35-21. Keep their playoff hopes alive. Buffalo, of course, still alive in the playoff hunt, but chances a little bit more slim now. Garrett calls a timeout.
Cowboys!
25-24, Dallas over Green Bay. 1:54 left to play in the 3rd quarter.
You know, it's something that, you know, Troy Aikman is probably, in fact, he had a birthday the other day.
Monday.
Yeah, all 3 of these Dallas Cowboy quarterbacks are 28 years old. Aikman is the youngest. Rodney Pete's in the middle. And the oldest of them is Jason Garrett. He's the oldest quarterback on this team. And he's really never played before. I mean, he came out of Princeton. In fact, he went from Princeton to Columbia, back to Princeton. Then he went to New Orleans. He was with the Saints. Then he went back to Princeton as a coach. Then he went to the World League. Then he went to Canada. And then he came here. So Jason Garrett is what you would call the consummate professional football player.
And also very good at buying airplane tickets.
Yeah, I mean, football is his profession. You know, his father, it was his father's profession, his brother's profession.
Still his father's profession.
His father's a scout with the Dallas Cowboys.
So it's second down. Jason Garrett returns. 20 years ago, on Thanksgiving Day here in Dallas, who can forget the Mad Bomber, Clint Longley, bringing the Cowboys from the down to beat Washington. There's Jason Garrett today. Garrett back to throw. Outside Emmitt Smith. Irving's the blocker in front of him. Emmitt Smith going. Johnston got a box. Emmitt Smith finally taken down inside the 10 by George Teague. .68 yards.
That's what a runner does. You get the ball to him in the open field. You'll see Emmitt Smith is in the backfield now. Then he's just going to go out. He's going to loop out to his left. You see Jason Garrett looks downfield, hits him in the backfield. Now this is what makes a runner a runner. He runs through stuff. He reads blocks. He knows where the defense is coming from. He sets up stuff. And that's what makes Emmitt Smith Emmitt Smith.
He got blocks from Irvin and Darrell Johnston. Downfield that sprung him.
Yeah, and he always knew where Irvin was and where Johnston was, and he knew where the Green Bay Packer defense was. He knew where everyone was on that field. Look at Michael Irvin. He can hardly walk.
Second and goal from the 8. They fumble the exchange on first down. Licking his fingers like pass is coming. What you would expect. Not when you have Emmitt Smith. Flag on the play.
And that's in the area of offensive holding. And the umpire calls that. That's the umpire the Packers have been using for their passing game.
Holding number 61, offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Nate Newton called for holding.
Yep, and that was a run right in behind Nate. Here's Nate Newton right here. You see, he comes down on Yurkovich. I don't know. It's not a hold yet. Not a hold yet. I don't know. I mean, he just finished him off there with that right.
That didn't look bad.
No, I think that goes on every play. To me, that's just some guys in the middle of the line thumping. You thump me, I thump you.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score. Dallas 25, Green Bay 24. This Fox NFL special will continue after these messages from your local Fox station.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. To you too.
Happy Thanksgiving, America.
Well,
No, not now. Save it.
hey, that's early.
No, the guy's eating a turkey leg. That's the one we got to give out to the MVP, and the cameraman ate it. Wrap it up and tell him you didn't eat it.
Second and goal from the 19. That's Emmitt Smith. Touchdown. From 19 yards away. His second of the day.
Isn't it amazing how great players can make it look so easy? Watch Emmitt Smith, a little draw trap.
Yep.
Good trap by Derek Kennard. He opened that hole. Emmitt Smith read it, he hit it, and strutted.
Bonio for the extra point, and it's good. Dallas 32, Green Bay 24.
This Fox NFL special is brought to you by American Honda, who has been making quality automobiles in America for the past 12 years. By the IBM Corporation. By Norelco Razor, for our closest shave ever. And by Hager, 100% cotton and wool casual clothing. Hager, stuff you can wear.
14:55 left to play. Dallas leading 32-24 on a touchdown by Emmitt Smith. 2 on the day for Emmitt. Corey Harris taken down and a flag on the play. Matt Vanderbeek. Derek Brownlow back to make the stop.
Illegal block, number 56 on the return. That penalty is declined. We have holding number 51 on the return. That penalty is accepted. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Let's go back and look at that touchdown by Emmitt.
Well, here it is. Derek Kennard is going to come across, get a trap here. Stepnoski blocks back. Tuinei comes in and gets a good block here, and this becomes the hole that Emmitt Smith runs through. Watch, boom, the trap, boom, Tuinei there, and then that gave the crack for Emmitt Smith to get through. I mean, that's good timing by Lemon. Stepnoski blocking back, Kennard coming across and trapping, Tuinei faking, and then coming in and getting the linebacker. And while all that was happening, Emmitt Smith timed it perfectly and got in between all that stuff.
The Cowboys lead by 8. Brett Favre back to throw. Rushed by Russell Maryland. Pass almost picked off, intended for Edgar Bennett. Brock Marion almost had a shot.
Yeah, Brock Marion knows that too,
Yeah.
Pat. If he had that, he had a touchdown. That's why Emmitt Smith is the best. I mean, today he has a bad shoulder, but the whole thing was really on his shoulder. I mean, Jason Garrett is playing well. Their defense had to come up. Their defense struggled a little today, the Cowboy defense. They got some good plays from special teams, but that third thing, Emmitt Smith had to have a big day, and he's delivering that.
2nd and 10. 3 wide receivers for the Packers. They give the ball to Bennett. He's taken down by Tony Tolbert. Those new jerseys the Cowboys are wearing might turn out to be used more often.
I don't know. You think that has anything to do with it? I think it's the guy that puts the jerseys on. I don't know. They got too much of it. They got stars on both shoulders. They got, insignias on the left, insignias on the right. There's too much writing on there for me.
Starting to look like a race car.
Yeah.
3rd and 10. 3 wide receivers again. Favre is sacked by the Dallas defense.
That's Charles Haley. Charles Haley lined up on the left side that time. Got inside of Sims. He just made one of his moves. He usually lines up on the other side. Here's Charles Haley here. He's going to start here. Then he's going to hit this gap right here and jump in that. Watch how Haley does it. He goes in sideways. You see him jump and turn at the same time, and then that jump and turn gives him a torque. And then he just pulled his feet out with one hand.
And Hennings fell on top of him.
Just like you do a turkey leg.
Good kick by Craig Hendricks to Kevin Williams. Starts from the 38. Gets into Green Bay territory to the 47. Dallas 32, Green Bay 24, 13:30 left to play at Texas Stadium. Again, a happy Thanksgiving. Raining through that hole in the roof at Texas Stadium, 32-24. The Cowboys lead.
Happy Thanksgiving.
That's a hole in the roof that only lets the players get wet and keeps all the fans dry.
Right. Garrett gets to Smith. And it gets to about the 40, I guess. Right now for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
All right, Pat, on Sunday here on Fox, Jerome Bettis, the NFC's #3 rusher, will take his quest for 1,000 yards to San Diego, where running back's worst nightmare resides, Junior Seau. That's Sunday right here on Fox. Back to Dallas, Pat Summerall and John Madden.
Russell Maryland over on the sideline. Emmitt Smith got 7 on the carry. 2nd and 3. Smith behind Darrell Johnston. Gets another carry. Emmitt gets the Dallas first down. Up by Yurkovich.
And Emmitt Smith really did it this second half. You can see that they were down 17-6 at halftime. Look at those second half drives. I mean, they stuck with Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
To the smart move. He got a couple big plays. They had some penalties to help him. Emmitt Smith has now gained over 100 yards.
Don't forget about that big kickoff return by Kevin Williams.
Kevin Williams and his special teams. Bonio got him a couple kicks early to get him on the board.
Garrett to Emmitt Smith. 35, maybe a yard. Fred Strickland made the stop. This is the first game this year that Green Bay defense has allowed a back to rush for 100 yards.
It's the first game that they've played against Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when you go and you have Emmitt Smith in a game and he's going to play the whole game and it's competitive, he's going to get his 100 yards. And if you're going to beat the Cowboys, you better beat them some other way other than counting on stopping Emmitt Smith for under 100 yards.
And that doesn't count. Those yards there don't count that 68-yard run with a pass reception. Garrett going deep for Irving. Flag on the play, but a touchdown Dallas. That flag was way away from the touchdown catch. A flag on the play.
Was way out here in the 20-yard line. I think it was against the Packers. I saw one of the officials signal touchdown. But that shot there, too, Emmitt Smith, that's why Emmitt Smith is so good.
Number 33, defense.
Touchdown, Michael Irvin.
Because the Packers came on a blitz on that play, Pat, and Emmitt Smith stepped up and picked up the blitzer to let Jason Garrett get rid of the ball. There's Michael Irvin down here fighting, and then he breaks away. Has a little speed right there to get the step. Jason Garrett throws a perfect pass. And one of those blocks that he got to throw that pass was by Emmitt Smith.
Garrett's had a hot second half. Bonio for the extra point. Novacek holding. It's good. Dallas 39. Green Bay 24. So much for the highly ranked defense. Dallas 39. Green Bay 24. Bonio bounces one down to the front line. Don Davey returned the kickoff.
Let's watch Jason Garrett's touchdown throw again. Here's Emmitt Smith. We talk about the thing that he does. Here comes a blitz. Emmitt Smith steps up here, gets the blitz, knocks it down, and that lets Jason Garrett, gives him more time or lets him throw the ball. See, Johnston goes in motion. Boom, right up there. Those are the things that Emmitt Smith can do. It's not only run and it's not only catch, but when you need a blocker, he can make the block that lets you get that touchdown. And then Michael Irvin did the ball and threw it up to his fan. She's the happiest person in this stadium.
3 wide receivers, Green Bay. Edgar Bennett. Favre just dumps it off to him. Garrett this half, John, 7 out of 8, 198 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean he's done an amazing job. I mean he's a bright guy, knows football, probably knows this football and this offense as well as anyone. Had confidence. I think he got confidence in this second half. So I'll tell you this: the offensive coordinator Ernie Zampese played a big part in this, Pat.
Here is Favre. Flag on the play at midfield. Reggie Cobb take it down.
I think the Cowboys came in with things that they could do for Jason Garrett. I think that Ernie did a great job of calling him.
Number 36, offense.
I thought it was interesting. There's Jason Garrett. I thought it was interesting yesterday what Barry Switzer was saying. He was saying he has learned Zampese's offense from Jason Garrett. He stands with Jason during practices and asked him what they're doing, why they're doing this.
Yeah, when Troy Aikman would be in there, or Rodney Peete sometimes, Barry Switzer would stand behind the huddle with Jason Garrett and ask him questions about the offense. But then I think Ernie Zampese putting a game plan together, calling the plays, and getting the right ones. There's Ernie right there. I think that he's had as much to do with this victory today as anyone.
If indeed it turns out to be a victory. 10.5 minutes left.
That's right. Someone said it ain't over till it's over, right?
Here's Favre for Mark Shimura, the tight end, the backup tight end. A flag on the play after the catch as he walks away.
Well, James Washington got that hit on Shimura that time that he missed on Sterling Sharp earlier in the game. James Washington, the free safety.
Barry Switzer saying just wrap him up. Most in Cowboy history, 33.
Hey, they're all, I mean, this is a beat-up team, this Cowboy team. They played on Monday night, and then they went to San Francisco, had a tough game there, came back, played Washington here on Sunday, again on Thursday. These guys want to get through this game and then get that 10-day rest and then make the move on the other end.
There's no unnecessary roughness on the play. Third down.
No unnecessary roughness. There's always roughness. It's just a question of is it unnecessary or not.
Well, it was on James Washington. I mean, he just came in and hit Shimura after he caught the ball.
That's what Barry Switzer was talking about to James Washington. Just wrap him up. 3rd and 2. Edgar Bennett behind Brett Favre. Here's Favre. Gets it out to Shimura. And that's the first down, Green Bay. Moving in to the Dallas 44-yard line. Darren Woodson made the stop.
You know, we talked about halftime. Maybe Barry Switzer had to get one of those fired up talks. You wonder where all the points came from. And everyone thought that this was going to be a low-scoring game. There's no one in the fourth quarter with 9.5 minutes to go thought the Cowboys would be leading 39-24.
First down, Green Bay. Favre back to throw it. Up into the pocket. Fires complete to Robert Brooks. Stopped by Larry Brown.
Favre had to go through a lot to fire that ball. Yeah, if you watch him go back here, he's looking. He has pressure there. He had to step up to get away from Haley and then step up and throw that ball.
And he hummed it.
I know he did, and that's the thing. He had 2 step-ups. One to step up to get away from the rush, and then one to step into the throw to put some mustard on it.
First down, Green Bay at the Dallas 28. These two teams, both of them, are starting to look like 2 tired fighters. Knocked down by Jeffcoat. They're trying to set up a screen left. Jeffcoat saw it coming.
That's one of those things where you're happy, but you're not happy. You're happy that you read it, then you're happy that you knocked it down, but you kind of wish you would have caught the thing. That's Jeffcoat. He's coming up there in the pass rush. Now he's going for the sack. Then he sees it's a screen. Then he goes for the interception. I think that went right between his hands and hit him in the face. That's usually what happens to linemen. You know, you never get a ball, and when you finally get one, you don't know what to do. What? Just put your hand, oh, it just went right through his hand.
2nd and 10.
That's what makes you a lineman.
Favre fakes. Again throwing left. Finds Sterling Sharp for a gain of about 5. Brings up 3rd and 5. The Cowboys leading 39-24. Both these teams, John, have had to play with very little rest. Both Green Bay had to travel. The Cowboys had that schedule you talked about a minute ago. It takes its toll eventually.
Yeah, and I mean, the good news about, playing on Thanksgiving, if you get a win, then you get 10 days off.
Outside to Cobb. Cobb gets past the 20, doesn't get the first down, not quite. But they got to go for this one.
And as you said, the Packers had it tough because they played in Buffalo. Then they had to travel to Buffalo for Sunday's game, get back, and then travel here for this game. At least the Cowboys had an advantage in that both of the games were at home. And the other advantage is that they play it every year.
Mike Holmgren wants a timeout. 4th and 1. Long one it is. Today's game is being produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Sandy Grossman. Dallas leading 39-24.
You could bring pies and turkeys.
The cranberries are delicious and they have vitamins.
I would have cakes. I have cookies and all kinds of junk food.
4th and 1, and Favre back to throw it. Chased by Haley and Lett. Got his first down at about the 5. Anthony Morgan made the reception. First and goal from there.
And that's why Brett Favre is a quarterback and a gambling quarterback. Haley takes an inside move, so he sees it, so he scrambles to the right. You think he could have gotten a first down there because he just needed a yard. 4th down, he still fired it, had that much confidence that that ball had to be completed or the Cowboys would have taken over.
First and goal at the 5. Reggie Cobb, the deep back. Brett Favre to try in a hurry. Looking to run it. Touchdown. Sterling Sharp, 4th of the day for Brett Favre.
Boy, that was good pass protection there because Favre had all kinds of time. I mean, he looked right, looked to the left, and just stayed right there in the middle.
Brett Favre is down.
Yeah, he took a hit when he threw that ball. Watch him. He doesn't get very deep. He looks right, looks back left, and then he's going to come and throw it in the middle, and he gets hit by Jim Jeffcoat just after he throws the ball. But he had a lot of time before Jeffcoat got there, and Jeffcoat got there late. Look, he's looking back this way, looking, and here comes Jeffcoat, and he just decleated him.
Sharp has 9 catches for 122 yards, 4 touchdowns today. Now, John, when the injury is taken care of, the Packers have a choice. I think I saw Mike Holmgren signal to go for 1. It's 39-30. Would you go for 1 or go for 2?
Well, the chart says that you would go for 2 in this situation. But as you said, Mike Holmgren already signaled that he's going to go for 1.
Favre coming out. He was hit by Jim Jeffcoat again. 39-30 the score. And we still have a lot of time left. 7 minutes and 3 seconds.
Yeah, right. And if they kick a field goal, I mean, if they kick an extra point, it's 1. And then, you know, the 2-point.
They're going to go for 1. 39-30. This would make it 39-31. So they got to go for 2 sometimes. If they score a touchdown again, that makes it 39-31. Both teams have 2 timeouts left. 7 minutes and 3 seconds left to play. So a lot of time left.
Yeah, that's one way to think that you get your 1, and I'm sure that's what Mike Holmgren is thinking. And then you leave 8 there that you know you need another touchdown,
right? And
you'll go for 2 when you get the next touchdown.
Game produced today again by Bob Stenner, directed by Sandy Grossman. Studio produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill.
Let's watch a touchdown again. We're going to see Favre just come back here and stand, and he looks to the left, looks to the right, and then Sterling Sharp is just going to be standing right there in the end zone, and he throws the ball to Sharp. See, he has time there. Sharp just uncovers, and now he just comes and stands right there in the end zone. And boom, he just throws the ball to him. Look at him here. See the time he pumps to the right, steps up a little, and then he finds Sharp just standing there. See, Sterling Sharp just got across the line. Everyone left him. I think they left by that pump by Brett Favre. and Sharp was just standing there. All left him alone, and Sharp found him.
Those 4 touchdowns by Sterling Sharp tie a Green Bay Packer record held by the great Don Hudson, and the 4 touchdown passes by Brett Favre ties a record held by Brett Favre. 39-31 onside kick. The Cowboys think it might be happening.
I don't think so. I think with 7 minutes, I don't think you have to kick an onside kick.
Jackie kicks away. Kevin Williams at the 16. Sort of walks up to the 25 where Dallas will take over. Their lead 39-31.
Of course, and that's where that 2-point rule comes in. You know, I mean, a year ago you would have thought that there's a really a tough battle for the Green Bay Packers because they need 2 scores. Here they still only need 1 score and then a 2-point play.
Who expected a game like this high scoring with all the people hurt? Jason Garrett, the Dallas quarterback, was the man in motion. The handoff is to Emmitt Smith, and the Packers react in a hurry. Sean Jones and George Kuntz converge to make the stop.
Yeah, the Packers have 2 timeouts, and they have over 6 minutes to go, so they have plenty of time to do this. So they have to think, stop the Cowboys, don't let them get a first down. Conversely, the Cowboys have to think, what we need now is we need some first downs. We have to keep working here, get the ball out to the middle of the field, and then open up. You can't have a mistake down in this area.
2nd and 10. 6:15 left to play. The Cowboys will take as much time as they can. It's Emmitt Smith. Left side, outside the 25, a couple of yards. George Kuntz again with an assist from Gilbert Brown. In the first half, Jason Garrett was 8 out of 17, 113 yards and no touchdowns, 1 interception. In the second half, 7 of 8, 198 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
And I think that, it was 2 things. 1, I think he got more comfortable. And 2, I think he had a halftime to make some adjustments and talk about what they were doing and what they wanted to do the second half. But they still got to play that, too.
Emmitt Smith goes out. They go with 3 wide receivers. And Garrett just goes deep. Harper had it, dropped it. And I didn't see any flag. But I think there might possibly should have been one.
Well, you get it all the time. When they get that close, when they get side by side, there's going to be bumping. And then they just throw that jump ball up. Harper just dropped that one.
Yep.
I mean, he knows that one. Jason Garrett, I mean, he's really not getting it out there far enough. It's just a little short, but they still have to be caught.
Sometimes they do that on purpose. They just throw it short. Brooks back deep for Green Bay. Jet to punt it. Line drive kick to Brooks. The coverage is down in good shape. Packers will take over at their own 36, stopped by Bill Bates. At the end of the game, John and I will select the Miller Lite player of the game. And I don't know who I have in mind at the moment. 39-31, Dallas leading. Depends on who wins, I guess.
I think the player of the game is probably going to be determined between now and the end of the game. If it's a Green Bay Packer, if it's a Dallas Cowboy, it's probably already been determined.
Jason Garrett or Emmitt Smith, one of the two. That's Brooks in motion and Favre back to throw it. Pass is caught by Ed West. Picked up about 8. Robert Jones all over him, but West still made the reception.
Although when a guy's had a game like Brett Favre is having, and Sterling Sharp, and breaking records and scoring touchdowns and catching balls and making runs like Sterling Sharp, that's hard to not consider those guys. Either guy that threw it there or the guy that caught it, number 84.
You had a look at those numbers by Brett Favre. 2 tight ends again for Green Bay. The protection is good. The pass isn't intended for Sharp, and Favre is lucky that was not intercepted. That's the kind of thing you really don't want to do at this point.
Well, they were looking for that one. I mean, they were all zeroed in on that slant to Sterling Sharp. They were out there waiting for that one.
Here's a guy, Mike Holmgren, who, win or lose, bad streak, good streak, he doesn't change.
No, he's a good coach and he's a good guy.
Edgar Bennett behind Favre on 3rd down. Brett Favre looking, hurries out of the pocket, and taken down from behind by Chad Hennings. Now they face the decision as to whether to go for the 1st down or punt it.
That is a big play by Chad Hennings. The Packers started. Chad Hennings is number 95. Just gets a big push in the middle, comes off and makes a dive and just gets the ankles. I think the Cowboys have already made that decision, Pat. They've left their offense in there, and they're going to go for it.
The Green Bay Packers, you mean? Hennings doesn't make that play. Favre can run for a 1st down. 6 for 11 on the year, and Favre is back to throw it. Again, the pressure. He's chased by Haley. He fires. The pass is incomplete. Intended for Robert Brooks. And the Cowboys will take over. Larry Brown might have intercepted it. I'm not sure. It didn't matter. It was 1st down anyway. Brown made the play.
It'll be better position if he didn't intercept it. But I think it was ironic that they went for it on 4th down here, because with over 3 minutes to go and 2 timeouts, I think you still have time to punt the ball.
That's a good play by Larry Brown.
Yeah, he just knocked that ball out of there, but the Packers really put everything on that play right there.
3:59 left. Green Bay still has 2 timeouts. This is Emmett Smith. Emmett gets inside the 40 to about the 38. Stopped by Fred Strickland. Green Bay is going to have to start burning some of those timeouts.
Yeah, because they really have 3. They have 2 timeouts, and they're going to get one at the 2-minute. And that's why I was surprised on 4th down, especially after the loss, that they didn't punt. You know, and get the Cowboys down, hope that Jason Garrett makes a mistake, you know, if not, and then have better field position, because they gave the Cowboys this field position.
It's 2nd and 6 for Dallas. Jason Garrett is quarterback the whole way. Hands again to Emmett Smith, who hammers it straight ahead past the Packers 35 to about the 34. It'll bring up 3rd and about 3. Troy Aikman has watched. He wore the headset. He said he was going to keep in touch with Ernie Zampese up in the press box and sort of interpret for Jason Garrett, but that didn't last that long.
Yeah, it was only if Jason Garrett needed interpretation. He said that there's nothing that he hates more as a quarterback than having someone come over and talking to him when he's playing. So he said he decided he's not going to talk to Jason Garrett unless Jason Garrett comes to talk to him.
3rd and 2. Emmett Smith and Darrell Johnson. And Emmett gets another carry. Gets the Dallas 1st down at the 30. Troy Aikman's dad.
Here's Troy Aikman's dad here. He said his dad was going to stay for the whole game. His mother was going to leave because she had to go home at halftime to cook the turkey. He likes that. He's looking.
Yeah.
Hey, look. He's telling his buddy. That's his good buddy there next to him. He said, "Hey, look, there's me, and hey, look, there's my son."
2-minute warning. Dallas leading 39-31, and Green Bay running out of timeout. Happy Thanksgiving again.
Thanksgiving.
Our group. Good group. George Grappio.
Yeah, he's right up here with us.
Yeah.
He's right next to us.
That's why I used his name.
Yeah.
It's 1st down, Cowboys. 2 minutes left to play. Dallas leading 39-31. The score at halftime was Green Bay 17, Dallas 6. things happened in a hurry.
These guys lit up the board.
Emmett again. First down again. And out of bounds goes Emmitt Smith. Maybe not a first down. It's so very close. They had to move the markers.
See big Nate Newton get around there?
Yep.
Yeah, he let him. You know, Emmitt Smith still has to get some first downs. Or watch Nate Newton get in here. Emmitt Smith is going to take him and get right behind him. When you see big 61, that's the way the play goes. You go motion with Novacek. There goes your guard. You take a little step. Look how quickly Nate Newton gets out there. He just gets that little bump, and that's the thing that frees Emmitt Smith to get that much yardage.
And the first down. They're still playing to about the 15, maybe the 16.
Yeah, I think Emmett has to play in this one. I mean, this isn't one that they have won yet. I mean, they have to keep the ball away from the Packers, not let the Packers get the ball back or score themselves. So this is not the type of place where you start resting players.
And this is timeout Packers, so they'll have one left with 1:37 remaining. Both teams have 10 days now to get rested, healed, they hope, and ready for the stretch drive to see who gets into the playoffs. And don't forget that stretch drive for the Eagles and the Falcons starts this Sunday in Atlanta, where John and I'll be. Tampa Bay plays Minnesota. Minnesota's still alive. The Bears in Arizona, the Giants Washington, the Rams in San Diego. That's Sunday. Check your local listing. All here on Fox. Second down and about 6, 7. Again, we've said it many times, but we'll say it one more time. There's Larry Lacewell, Barry Switzer. Larry, the director of pro personnel for the Cowboys, and Barry, of course, after 5 years in retirement, called out by Jerry Jones to coach the Cowboys, and quietly has done a very, very fine job. Maybe not so quietly always either.
No, I guess at halftime last week or Sunday it was, he wasn't that quiet. But you know, has done a smooth job of keeping this team on track.
Novacek is the move man. Emmitt Smith is the ball carrier, and Emmett inside the 15 picked up a couple. Stopped by Leroy Butler. It would be hard to pick an individual, so we're not going to do that on this Thanksgiving Day. We're going to be generous on Thanksgiving Day. Emmitt Smith and Jason Garrett, and what an assist they had from the offensive line, and Darryl Johnston, and, well, just about everybody. And for Green Bay, Sterling Sharp, who, as I said, tied Don Hudson's record with the 4 touchdowns. Brett Favre, who threw the 4 touchdown passes, tied his own record. Third down and 5 at the 14.
And there is a tired big bunch of guys. I mean, I think, you know, the turkey leg, you know, we're still going to have some turkey legs here, and I think this group here has done a pretty good job today.
The offensive line, so has the quarterback, particularly in the second half, and so has number 22. Whoa, what a job he did.
And, you know, number 22 will appreciate those big guys up in front, and probably more than that, those big guys up front, I know, appreciate 22.
Up in the backfield, and Emmett just says this is not what exactly I had in mind.
Or Garrett says that wasn't what he had in mind.
No. Well,
but this is a field goal opportunity.
Field goal. Bonio trots out. Novacek will hold. Cowboys will try to put it on ice. Warm up the turkey. Don't put it on ice. 35 yards away for Bonio. The field goal is good by the rookie, Chris Bonio. Barry Switzer said he expected that Bonio would play a big part if the Cowboys were to win. 42-31. He's kicked 3 field goals, but I don't think anybody expected all those other points.
No, and they didn't expect Jason Garrett to lead this team to 42 points. I don't know, Barry Switzer, I don't know if he expected Derek Kennard to play the whole game. You see him give him a belt?
Yep.
Derek Kennard weighs about 350 pounds, and he walked by Barry Switzer, and he gave him a slap.
We'll be giving out our turkey leg awards after the game is over. We may not be able to stay on the air because of time restrictions, but we'll tape it and you'll see it on Sunday when we're in Atlanta. The Eagles face the Falcons.
I think a game like this, I think we can give out the legs and the whole body and everything. Just let him take the whole turkey.
Well, we don't want to give him any body.
I think Nate there, I think you got to give him the whole turkey. I mean, you give him a leg, the leg would be gone before he got to the house.
Somehow the stars look smaller on Derek Kennard's shoulders and Nate Newton's shoulders.
Yeah, I think Derek Kennard's happy that he played the whole game. A lot of these Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers did too. I mean, they gutted this one up.
Now, those stars are just part of the galaxy on this 2-time Super Bowl championship team, shooting for 3. Never been done.
How would you like to be a turkey and have those guys coming at you, though? I mean, big Derek Kennard, big Nate Newton. You're a turkey sitting there, and here come those guys.
I figure I was going to lose.
You probably already lost if you're a turkey and they're coming.
Kickoff return by Corey Harris. He is hammered out of bounds by Clayton Holmes. So the Packers score is 42-31. Packers are out of timeouts. 39 seconds left.
What a second half this Cowboy team put together, though, offensively.
Reggie White, what a courageous performance by that man. He believes that he had a broken arm. He thought he had a broken arm against Buffalo. Miraculously, he thinks he was healed by a higher power. And for Reggie, I don't doubt it. Reggie Cobb struggling to get out of bounds. Didn't make it, I don't believe. Yes, he did. 30 seconds. Clock stopped. Now it's the running again.
And I think anytime you have any kind of an award or whatever, Reggie White has to be one of the guys that gets whatever you do for the way he plays. And then that other guy right there, Emmitt Smith. I mean, how can you give away anything and not give it to him? I mean, he just comes and just lays it on the line. I mean, we saw him today run with the ball. We saw him catch the ball. And then remember that pass that Jason Garrett threw to Michael Irvin? We saw him come up with a big block on the blitz.
Well, Jason Garrett turned out to be the salvation for the Cowboys.
What do you think his 2 nicknames are? One is Red, the other is Rudy.
That fits. Well, they're shaking hands. Charles Haley. Kept chasing. Jason Garrett kept plugging. Dallas improves to 10-2.
Second half.
I'll tell you, old Red is going to have a heck of a Thanksgiving, isn't he, Pat?
Boy.
Feels great. Feels great. But I mean,
Feels
22,
great.
88, arm, offensive line.
Jason Garrett rose to the occasion, particularly in the second half. For John Madden, this is Pat Summerall saying so long from Texas Stadium, where the final score was Dallas 42, Green Bay 31. You've been watching Fox Sports coverage of the National Football League.
This is the 20th anniversary of the most legendary turkey substitute ever served up on Thanksgiving in Dallas. Cliff Longley filling in victoriously for Roger Staubach, including this bomb that Drew Pearson. But the 1994 holiday has been no picnic. Troy Aikman limping out of the lineup. Rodney Peete practicing, suiting up, but practically unplayable. So pulled into position, Princeton grad Jason Garrett going against Green Bay in one of the most gazed at games of the season. The national TV audience saw Aikman on the sidelines, Peete in a baseball cap, And Reggie White, who was supposed to have a consecutive game streak ended, blowing people out of the way. Larry Allen knocked over, and Jason Garrett turned under. Charles Haley answered, though, and watch he and Tony Tolbert converge on Brett Favre, cracked his chin, but then Favre went to work, drove him down, and started the scoring with 4 minutes left in the first quarter to Sterling Sharp. 4 touchdowns between the two on the day. Jason Garrett, meanwhile, struggled. Reggie White has his consecutive game streak extended to 149, but missed his first start, but got plenty of action in. Where's Roger Staubach when he needed? The Cowboys held the 2 first-half field goals, but the opening kick of the second half, and lightning in a bottle. Kevin Williams stumbled, recovered by midfield, and then, with just one man to beat, got stopped but set up a touchdown that brought him within 4. Emmitt Smith made it 17-13. Favre answers. Sharp cutting across. Gets a block and gets in. 36-yard connection, 24-13 Packers. Some cheeseheads down deep in the heart of Texas. And then scrambling, Garrett gathering himself, and pop! The late hit, that was a costly one. 45 yards in penalties on this drive as the Cowboys continue, down by 5. Finds his man, Jay Novacek, down to the 3, a 28-yard pickup. Nice going, Jay. Still more offensive weapons for the Cowboys. Emmitt Smith on the screen. A 68-yard burst, missed tackles all the way down to the Packer 3-yard line. Cowboys take a 25-24 lead heading to the fourth quarter. And more Emmitt. He had 94 yards receiving, almost had his first 100 game of his career. This 19-yard scamper, untouched, 32 carries, 133 yards on the ground, scored twice. Garrett wasn't through. Barry Switzer said, I don't think he has the arm of Aikman or Pete. Airs it out to Michael Irving. A 36-yard strike. They're up 8. If the Packers can score and get the 2-point conversion, they can tie it. Great defensive stand. Larry Brown knocks it away from Robert Brooks, and the Cowboys hold on and win it in a wild shootout in Texas, 42-31. The Cowboys outgained Green Bay 436-277, including holding the Packers at 29 yards rushing. The Pack plays at Detroit a week from Sunday, probably both teams' last shot at the playoffs. Dallas virtually assured a postseason berth. They have 10 days to rest, so Garrett could become the Cliff Longley of the 90s.
There's a lot of firepower on this team, and, you know, I mean, I was just kind of 1/11th of it today, and guys just made some tremendous plays, and, you know, I mean, I didn't think about points we were going to score. I mean, I was just trying to go out there and play within the system and get the guys the ball, and they made some tremendous plays.
He showed he could play the game. A lot of you guys, a lot of people question, could he do it? Could we win with Red? Could we do it? He showed he could win. And not just win, in a big way.
Very few people have an opportunity to have moments like this in their lives, and this will be something he'll always remember, and I'll always remember, and those that were part of it and saw it. Red Ball Express from Princeton, NJ, right?
He's already got a nickname. It's the most points the Packers have allowed this season and the most the Cowboys have collected since Super Bowl 27 when they binged on Buffalo for 52. Their only comparable second halves to this record setter back in 1968 when Don Meredith, who wore the same number 17 as Jason Garrett, was hooking up with Lance Rensel. Brett?
For a little light reading, you might want to pick up the book on great NFL quarterbacks out of the Ivy League. It's brief. The last grade 8 passer to start a game in the NFL, Dartmouth's Jeff Kemp. That was back in 1991. Jason Garrett, though, has changed all that. Pam Oliver explains from Big D.
His teammates call him Red for his flaming red hair. But after his 2-touchdown, 311-yard day against the Pack, the color of Jason Garrett's hair is no longer what makes him stand out.
I felt he was going to be kind of shaky coming into the game, but what we couldn't do is let him get down and you know, let one bad play lead to another, and he just be out torn up. What we had to do is just keep him up.
Oh, man, he was throwing some big plays, man. For a guy with not a very strong arm, he did a hell of a job.
For me, I mean, everybody was kind of wishing me luck and all this kind of stuff this week. My focus was, this is an important game for us to win. I mean, we need to be 10-2 after Thursday, and you know, guys played great around me. The defense hung in there when we were struggling, and we were able to come through with a win, and that was the most important thing.
The Cowboys would have taken a squeaker, but Garrett helped deliver a gusher. With no Aikman or Pete available, Garrett, known for his confidence, surprised only those who didn't know him.
For him to step in under the circumstances that he stepped in and show the leadership that he did in the huddle and to lead the team and to be poised like he did, to stand there and take some shots and as well as throw the ball down and make the right reads and not really make any critical errors. I mean, it just applauds him.
It just felt great to see him do it because, you know, the defense, we was down a little bit. And then when the offense, we fed off the offense. You know, usually offense feed off us, but this week we fed off of them, and they gave us the boost that we needed to go out there and fight just a little bit harder to stop these guys and contain them.
Fittingly, Garrett's first pro touchdown landed in the arms of Alvin Harper. You see, Garrett got a little advice from outside the huddle that was hard to ignore.
Can I tell you a funny story? My wife, she cooked dinner and stuff this week, and she really was tremendous. And she said, you know, I don't give you football advice very much, but when you're in there, throw it high to Alvin. So I try to do that all day.
So where does Jason Garrett go from here? Well, back to Scout Squad, he suspects, but not before giving his team a tremendous boost while offering up the best and most memorable game of his pro career. From Dallas, Pam Oliver, ESPN.